Hi everyone. So we are quickly approaching the 15th of Shvat, which is also known as Tu B'Shvat, which is the new year of the trees. And if you're like me, you're getting your fruit bowls ready. It's an unusual holiday. It's not one that's spoken about in the Torah. And, for many of us, we've come to, learn about Tu B'Shvat very much in the same manner that we learn about the Shemitah. It's really a time of the year, something, like an appointed time. And but I have to tell you that Tu B'Shvat has come to represent one of the most important times for me. And I didn't come to this place by, any sheer or any words of a Rebbeinu. Actually, I came to this place strictly by Hashem really literally putting me through life and what Tu B'Shvat has come to mean. Now again, this is not a holiday that's really spoken about in the Torah. And yes, there are many correlations between the New Year of the trees and for mankind. Tu B'Shvat being the New Year for the trees, and man being the tree of the field. There are a lot of things that we can say and we can draw this kind of meaning to it. And we kind of go on and that's it. But Tu B'Shvat, to me, really, it almost joins together. It closes a circle, which was started by two people who, in essence, are really one and the same. And that's Noach and Moshe Rabbeinu. It's a well-known fact. It's not even something that's up for debate. It's not even something that's really a secret. Everyone knows that Moshe Rabbeinu is the reincarnation of Noach, and we see that very clearly in the Torah. Through many things that the Torah has written, we see and we know clearly that they are really out of the same soul. So what does that mean for me? How does this become the most important time in the year? I have to tell you that, like Noach and Moshe, Moshe really coming to close that circle that happened at this time as Noach. I have to tell you that many years ago, back in my Christian days, I made a very public statement. It was a very public statement. It was very harsh in my criticism of Noach, and really, I think I was very, really callous, perhaps, in my view of him, and just, really thinking of him in my own ignorance and arrogance, just depicting him really as somebody who had, no pun intended, but missed the boat on an opportunity, had really turned to the wine a little too much, I portrayed him really as someone who, saved his own skin. And I have to tell you that this is the great thing about Judaism and everything that it teaches you. And one of the things we learn all the time is that you have to judge everyone favorably. And, if you don't do it willingly, I promise you Hashem will do it for you. And that's exactly what happened with me. I say this, that I've come to appreciate Tu B'Shvat, not because, again, it's a time of fruit and all that, but because Tu B'Shvat has come to symbolize really my whole life. And that is closing circles. As many of you know, when I did Legacy of Secrets, we started out with that, with the closing of the circles. And Moshe Rabbeinu, for sure, and he comes and closes these circles when he's standing with Hashem, which is, the irony is that, the first time as Noach, there is this story that's brought down about, Noach's realization that he had missed this opportunity. But really at the time, I don't think that he saw it as missing an opportunity, but rather he was kind of shifting the blame towards Hashem. And Hashem responds in a very harsh way. And I'm not going to repeat the rebuke. It's but Hashem does respond to him in a way. And here, when he comes now back to Hashem as Moshe Rabbeinu, he's kind of having this very similar conversation. And we see this represented in the words when he says, may the flood waters of Noach. And we see this, really this circle coming to be closed, where in the first section, he had not done really much of anything to get anyone else on board the boat. And in the second, when he comes back as Moshe, of course, he so famously says, then erase my name from the book. So he really comes to close that circle. And it's, I think, just so wonderful, just also the timing of it, that Tu B'Shvat is coming while we are, in this week's Parsha, learning about the splitting of the sea. Again, with this whole water theme. But I think what really hit home for me is, a little while ago, I was studying the GEMARA. And I was reading how Noach, when he was writing down everything for the Torah, he was repeating everything back to Hashem. He was repeating everything back to Hashem, minus the part when he came to writing about his death. And it really brought me to a place of such compassion for him. And, as many of you know, with the Kosher 2.0 and all that, you guys know I'm a big buff with science and medicine and kind of studying those two. And, the funny thing is, science has come recently to say to us about how memory is stored in the DNA. And, and we know as Jews, we know that that there are things about a previous Gilgul that you also, that they come and they manifest, they replay themselves out. And from this section, now, having really seen it in its entirety, you have to think there's the relationship that Hashem and Moshe Rabbeinu had. I mean, imagine this. As Noach, he saw probably one of the most tragic events that have ever hit mankind. I mean, if you think about it, he literally saw the first Holocaust, and not just of Jews, but because there were no Jews at the time, but of everything, of all life, everything gone. And now here as Moshe Rabbeinu, he's also seeing some of the greatest miracles that have ever happened, right? The splitting of the sea. I mean, just tremendous. And just as a neshama, on the neshama level, how much of a relationship that they had together, that this journey that they're taking from one life to another. And we see this playing out even when, when Moshe Rabbeinu is writing the Tehillim, and he's saying, gladden us with, according to the days that you afflicted us, the days that we saw evil. Really, I feel like that he was writing that from such a deep, deep place, But what does that have to do with Tu B'Shvat, right? You could be saying, Devorah Esther, that's all great, it's wonderful, but what does that have to do with Tu B'Shvat? And I have to tell you that as we're putting our fruit bowls together and, we're celebrating the New Year's of the trees, you have to stop and think. Noach witnessed one of the most tragic events in all of mankind, right? And he did realize that there was an opportunity that was missed. And as a result, he became very upset and sad, rightfully so. And, but he did something so incredible that were it not for him making this action, we really wouldn't have a Tu B'Shvat to celebrate. And what is that? So Noach goes and he picks himself up and he starts planting all the seeds, right? The same seeds everywhere you look, every tree that you see, every foliage, every shrubbery, everything that you see is a result of Noach picking himself up after one of the most tragic, events in mankind, after he had felt that he had missed such an opportunity in his life. And he goes on and he plants this tremendous really garden of life, right? He literally plants everything that you see, everything that we're eating. We are really all partaking in his decision to go on even after the Mabul has come and ruined his life. And I spoke about this before, and I spoke about how I think I did it when I did the recording for the Chofetz Chaim, and I said about that there are times that things happen in our life that they are like a Mabul. They come in and they ruin everything, and we really feel like, how can we go on? And Noach really came to show us that. And I think, as of late, my conversation to Hashem has really been, Hashem, he really did save people. He saved me, he saved me. Because had he not picked himself up from the most tragic thing that I think anyone really has gone through in their life, and he still was able to pick himself up, and as a result, look at all the beauty that exists till this day out of that one action, then for sure everything in my life I can go back and I can rebuild again. I can renew myself like the trees, even though, in the East Coast here we have a huge snowstorm, and it doesn't seem like there's any signs of life, and yet we know that on Tu B'Shvat, that signs of life are beginning to happen deep on the inside. And, isn't that so apropos, right? Like, seeds have to be planted in the deepest, darkest place in order for them to take root and to really grow. And that really, I feel, is what Tu B'Shvat has come to represent for me, that time of just remembering that no matter what's going on in your life, you can pick yourself back up. You can, start again, and you can replant, and you can grow, and those seeds will live on, and they will have many years after that, all as a result of what you've done, your actions. But not only did he have that influence as Noach, but the fact that he comes back as Moshe Rabbeinu, and he really comes to close all these circles. I just have to tell you that the whole thing, I'm just incredibly impressed with Hashem. And it's just a tremendous display of his mercy and his true love for not only Moshe Rabbeinu, but for all of us, his true love, that he does bring us through all these things, but really it is good, because Hashem is good. So really, kol hakavod to Hashem, to Moshe Rabbeinu, to Noach, for really hitting it out of the park with this one. And I have to say, it really has humbled me. Life has really humbled me to see this, to not be so judgmental. Their stories have come, their recorded stories have come they continue to teach me so much. And I can only pray that when I'm in Shemaim, that I even have this zechus to even just see him walking by, to see Moshe Rabbeinu walking by, even Noach to walk by, even if I'm looking up from a lower level. It's just such a tremendous thing to be such an Eved Hashem, to really have that relationship from one life to another. But really, I don't know that I'll ever see Tu B'Shvat as just a day to eat fruit, or as a new year for the trees. But I find it as a new year for myself, and I truly do see myself saying, yes, I want onto the boat. Yes, I'm leaving with you out of Mitzrayim. I can't wait for the redemption. But more than that, I really hope that it comes to bring Hizuk to everyone, that there is life, even if there doesn't seem to be any, there is life happening. And there is redemption even out of the darkest place. So I just want to wish everyone a wonderful Tu B'Shvat. And it should be a great Shabbos this Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. And really, I can't wait to see those pictures, and I can't wait to be with all of you again soon. Thanks.